We're taking a deep look today at the sources surrounding just a horrific event in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
Yeah.
The attack on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I mean, one person confirmed dead, 9 hurt. The church itself just destroyed.
And the thing that immediately jumps out, the context, is the timing. I mean, incredibly chilling. This attack happened exactly 24 hours after Russell M. Nelson, the LDS church president, passed away peacefully at 101.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got a lot of source material here, witness accounts, police statements, official reactions. We need to kind of unpack the sequence of events, look hard at this motive investigators are chasing, and also, the bigger picture, the threat to places of worship generally.
Right. Because an attack during Sunday services,
Yeah.
hundreds of people there. That level of calculation is just deeply disturbing. So, okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the timeline.
Absolutely. So Sunday morning, everything seems normal. Then, bam, 10:05 a.m. This is at the LDS Chapel on McCandless Road in Grand Blanc Township. Services had started, about 10 a.m. Place was full.
And people inside, they didn't immediately know what was happening, did they? There's that witness, Brian Taylor. His account is pretty vivid in the sources.
Yeah, Taylor describes this huge, grinding noise, and then seeing a massive crack just suddenly appear in the chapel wall.
Right in the wall.
And his first thought, and others apparently thought the same thing, was it must have been some kind of terrible car crash.
Just an accident.
Yeah, someone lost control, hit the building by mistake. That assumption, it speaks volumes about how unprepared they were. How could you be?
But it wasn't an accident. The sources make that clear very quickly. We know a 40-year-old man from Burton, Michigan, intentionally drove his vehicle right through the front doors.
Intentionally
Yeah.
smashed through the entrance. So this wasn't just a random act. This was a breach, a deliberate way in.
Designed to cause chaos from the start.
And it gets worse. Police Chief William Renier confirmed this wasn't just the vehicle. That was only phase 1, essentially.
Phase 1.
Yeah. The sources detail this horrifying sequence. He gets out of the car, immediately starts firing into the congregation with an assault rifle.
Oh, my God.
And then he deliberately sets the church building on fire.
So, vehicle ramming, shooting, and arson.
Exactly. A multi-pronged attack. It wasn't just about hurting people. It was about obliterating the place itself, turning it into a death trap.
And the violence wasn't just contained inside, was it? People trying to get away were targeted, too.
That's right. Brian Taylor again, he and his wife were trying to flee in their car, and the gunman actually shot at them.
Shot at their car.
Shattered the windshield. Taylor got hit in the hand by shrapnel. It shows the gunman was trying to stop anyone from escaping, inflict harm on anyone connected to that church.
And that fire, it took hold fast, didn't it? Became a major element itself.
A huge factor. It escalated incredibly quickly. We're talking a 5-alarm blaze.
5 alarms, wow.
Yeah, massive response needed. And the fire caused part of the church structure to actually collapse before they could get it under control. Took hours. They finally put it out around 1 p.m.
But the immediate shooting threat, that ended sooner, thankfully.
Yes, because law enforcement engaged him. After shooting 10 people in total, the gunman was confronted by 2 officers.
2 officers stopped him.
One from the Department of Natural Resources, interestingly, and one from Grand Blanc Township Police. They engaged him, and there was a shootout. The suspect was killed.
That quick confrontation probably saved a lot of lives.
Almost certainly. But the toll is still terrible. 1 confirmed dead so far, 9 others in the hospital, and the sources say several are critical.
And there's that awful possibility, that lingering uncertainty.
You mean Chief Renee's comment?
Yeah, about searching the wreckage.
It's chilling. He basically warned everyone, we do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure. Because of the fire damage, the collapse, searching that debris is incredibly dangerous and slow.
So families are just waiting in agony.
Exactly, which is why those reunification sites were set up so fast. The pavilion near the church, the Trillium Theater, trying to give people a place to go to find information.
Okay, let's shift to the investigation now, because this is where it gets really interesting, right? The why.
Yeah.
Why this church? Why that Sunday? And it keeps coming back to the timing.
Exactly. 24 hours after Russell M. Nelson's death.
Nelson, the LDS president, he was 101, led the church since 2018. That's a huge deal in the LDS faith, isn't it? His passing.
It is. He wasn't just a president. He's considered a prophet by the 17 million members. His death triggers a very specific, very significant period of mourning and transition. There's a whole protocol for succession.
So the thinking is, could someone opposed to the church see this moment, this leadership change, as, like, a symbolic time to strike.
That seems to be a primary angle investigators are pursuing. If you look at the history of anti-LDS sentiment, it often targets the leadership, the structure, the perceived authority.
Right.
And the sources are explicit. Authorities are not treating this timing as a coincidence. They're executing search warrants at the suspect's place in Burton, digging into his phone, his digital footprint, basically trying to map out any connections, any ideology.
To find out if there was a motive tied to Nelson's death or the church leadership specifically.
Precisely. Was it about the church in general, or was it pointedly about this moment of transition? That's the question.
And the federal response really underscores how seriously they're taking that possibility. 100 FBI agents, plus the ATF. That's a major deployment.
It really is. That number, 100 FBI agents, it tells you something. It's not just boots on the ground. It signals the complexity.
Yeah.
You've got the vehicle ramming, the mass shooting, the arson. These require specialized federal resources.
Okay.
The FBI can trace potential domestic terror links, look for networks, and the ATF, they're crucial for the arson investigation. How was the fire set? Were accelerants used? That sort of thing. They're looking beyond just the who to the why and maybe who else.
Which makes the political reactions we saw coming so quickly even more noteworthy in how they framed this whole thing for the public.
Absolutely. You had, Attorney General Pam Bondi calling it heartbreaking and chilling. Standard stuff. FBI Director Kash Patel called it cowardly and criminal. Again, expected condemnations.
But then it gets more specific, more political.
Right. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer focused on the location violence in a place of worship being unacceptable, which it is, of course. But then President Trump's statement really leaned into a specific narrative.
He called it yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America.
Exactly. And declared the epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. That framing, deliberately targeting Christians, immediately shapes how the event is understood nationally, regardless of what the investigation ultimately finds about this specific suspect's motive. It connects it to a wider perceived conflict.
And that connection feels sadly relevant because this attack in Grand Blanc, it isn't happening in a vacuum, is it? The sources point to this disturbing trend.
Yeah, violence against religious institutions. It's a pattern we can't ignore. This isn't some one-off anomaly.
The sources mentioned that awful shooting in Minneapolis back in August 2025.
At Annunciation Catholic Church, yeah. 2 children killed there, 17 injured. It serves as this grim reminder that congregations are being targeted during worship when they're most vulnerable.
And the security experts quoted, they make a point that often the attacker isn't distinguishing between specific doctrines, right? It's about attacking the idea of worship itself.
Precisely. It's targeting the concept of sanctuary, of faith community. We've seen it directed at synagogues, at Sikh gurdwaras, now Catholic and LDS churches. It's an assault on religious freedom broadly. These places are seen as soft targets because of their open nature.
Which creates this incredibly difficult dilemma for churches, synagogues, mosques, temples everywhere. How do you stay open, welcoming, a true sanctuary, while also protecting people from these kinds of horrific calculated attacks? Vehicle rammings, active shooters, arson. It's a terrifying combination.
It feels almost like an impossible tightrope walk. The whole point is to gather, to pray, to connect, especially on a Sunday morning. But bolting the doors, adding intense security, it changes the fundamental feeling of the place, that welcoming spirit.
Right.
The LDS Church's own statement kind of hit that nail on the head. Places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peacemaking, prayer, and connection. That core mission is now directly threatened.
So when we step back and look at everything, what does this all mean right now? The immediate tragedy is still unfolding in Grand Blanc. Families are waiting, investigators are searching for that specific motive, maybe linked to the LDS leadership change.
And I think for everyone watching or listening, the big takeaway is this heightened security challenge. This incident confirms that religious institutions need to plan for really complex, multi-stage attacks, using vehicles, guns, fire, methods designed for maximum harm when people feel safest.
It really does. And we saw that immediate ripple effect, didn't we? The NYPD deploying officers to religious sites in New York City right after the news broke.
A very quick reaction.
So maybe the final thing for you, the listener, to mull over is this. How do communities adapt? How quickly can they ramp up security to meet these evolving threats without, losing that essential openness, that spirit of sanctuary, finding that balance? That's the challenge this awful event leaves us with.
It's a tough conversation, but a necessary one. Thanks for joining us as we work through the sources.
We really appreciate you being here. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening over on Spotify, please hit that follow button. It really helps ensure you don't miss any of these explorations.